Hello dear students, we have talked about male reproductive system in the previous video. Now we will take up the next topic from chapter 3, that is human reproduction. So our topic is female reproductive system today. So female reproductive system is lying in the pelvic region of the females, and it is comprising up of a pair of ovaries, a pair of fallopian tubes or oviducts, a inverted pear-shaped structure which is called as the uterus, and vagina. Along with these, external genitalia is also present, which we'll be shortly discussing, and along with that another part, structures called as mammary glands or breasts are also considered to be part of the reproductive system because they help in the nourishment of the offspring of the humans, right? So now students, these all structures, they are integrated structurally and functionally to perform certain processes. For example, ovary will help in the ovulation, then fertilization will be taken place over here, then pregnancy, after that childbirth and the child care. So now let's learn about all of these organs one by one. Now we will talk about ovaries. Ovaries are paired structures. Here you can see two ovaries which are located in the pelvic region of the females. Each ovary is about 2 to 4 centimeter long, and it appears to be like an unshelled almond, and this is suspended by ovarian ligament and is attached with the walls of the uterus by this ligament. Broad ligament of uterus is also helping it to do so. Ovary is said to be the primary sex organs because it leads to the production of gamete. Can you name the female gamete? That is ovum. Plus certain steroidal hormones are also produced by the ovary. If we talk about general structure of ovary, each ovary is surrounded by, I'll just draw a rough diagram. Each ovary is surrounded by a lining that is called as epithelium. Inside the epithelium is enclosed stroma. So stroma is divided into two parts. The outer thick part of the stroma, this one, is called as cortex, and inner to cortex lies another part, that is medulla. Details of this we will talk in the next topic. So what is the function of ovary now? Ovary is producing the gametes and also certain ovarian hormones, right? So now let's proceed on with the next part of the female reproductive system. As it was told that ovary will form the ovum, and this ovum will be captured by the fallopian tube, right? So fallopian tube is about 10 to 12 centimeter long tube like structure, and it is comprising up of three parts: infundibulum, ampulla and isthmus. So infundibulum is the one which is the first part. It is about trumpet shaped or funnel shaped structure. At one of its end it is bearing tiny projections, finger like projections, which are called as fimbriae. So these fimbriae will catch the ovum, which is released after ovulation from the ovary. Ovulation is the release of ovum from the ovary. So after it is released, the fimbriae will catch this ovum and will pass it on to the infundibulum. From here, the ovum will be now passed on to the next part, which is the widest and the longest part of the fallopian tube, that is the ampulla. After the ampulla, the another part begins, which is bit narrow comparatively, and this is called as isthmus. So what is the function of fallopian tubes? Fallopian tube serves to catch the ovum after ovulation, and they are also referred to as site of fertilization. The upper part of the ampulla region is believed to is the site of fertilization. That is where the ovum will fuse with the sperm, right? After this, isthmus is continuous with the uterine part of the reproductive tract, and the next portion is the uterus. So uterus is a single structure. This whole is a uterus, which is a muscular structure, and is the shape appears to be like an inverted pear. It is comprising up of three parts. The upper dome shaped part is called as the fundus region of the uterus. Here the uterus communicates at corners with the fallopian tubes, and this part is called as cornua, and the rest of this is known as body of the uterus. So uterus communicates with the exterior through a small portion which is called as cervix. This is led by cervical canal, which opens into the next part, that is the vagina. Coming to the walls of the uterus, uterus is comprised up of three walls. The first one is the endometrium, myometrium, and the perimetrium. If we start from the outside, the thin membrane like structure, outer membrane of the uterus is called as perimetrium. Then the next layer is myometrium, which is made up of smooth muscles, and the innermost layer is the endometrium, which is glandular layer. So note down that this endometrium will undergo different cyclical changes during the menstrual cycle, and the next one, which is the myometrium, will initiate contractions, uterine contractions during the childbirth. After that, there is another structure which is called as vagina. This is about 10 centimeter long tube like structure. This is also known as a birth canal, because when the fetus will develop inside the uterus, it will be expelled out through this vagina only, right? So it is the birth canal. It also receives the sperms during the intercourse. We had forgotten the functions of uterus, as told that uterus is also the site of implantation, that is if the fertilization will take place, the zygote will grow up to blastula stage, and this blastocyst will be embedded in the walls of the uterus. This is called as implantation. So uterus is also the site of implantation. Endometrium, as told, will undergo certain cyclical changes during the menstrual cycle, and myometrium will help in uterine contraction during the childbirth. So this was about the reproductive system. And one more thing is that ovary is said to be the primary sex organ of the females, whereas the fallopian tubes, the uterus and vagina, they form the accessory ducts. Now we will talk about external genitalia. So external genitalia includes mons pubis. Mons pubis is a cushion-like structure, or it is a cushion of fatty tissue covered by skin and pubic hair. Another part is labia majora. Labia majora are fleshy folds of tissues which extend down from the mons pubis, and it will surround the vaginal opening. Next is labia minora. Labia minora are paired folds of tissues under the labia majora. The opening of the vagina is often covered partially by a membrane that is called as hymen. Another part under this is clitoris. Clitoris is a tiny finger-like structure which lies at the upper junction of the two labia minora above the urethral opening. So students, this was about the female reproductive system, the main organs, accessory ducts and external genitalia. Now we will talk about the next part of this system, that is the mammary glands. The diagram is showing the sectional view of mammary gland, or also known as breast. So mammary gland are two round prominences which are lying over the pectoralis major muscle. This is the pectoralis muscle on the front wall of the thorax. These are also present in the males but are only in rudimentary form. In the female, they are undeveloped until puberty, and at puberty they begin to develop under the influences of certain hormones like estrogen and progesterone. Externally, each breast is consisting up of a structure which is called as nipple. Nipple is surrounded by a circular pigmented area of skin. This is called as areola. On the surface of the areola, there are number of sebaceous glands which are called as areolar glands. The functional mammary glands are the characteristics of mammalian females. And if we talk about the internal structure, so internal structure of the breast is consisting up of the glandular tissue. This whole is the glandular tissue, and this tissue is also having fat deposits, which is the fatty or adipose tissue. And learn this, that mammary glands are modified sweat glands. If we now talk about the glandular tissue, each of the glandular tissue is comprising up of 15 to 20 mammary lobes, and each lobe is made up of a cluster of grape-like structures which are called as alveoli. So this is the alveoli which is secreting the milk in the humans, right? So when milk is produced, it passes from the alveoli into the next part which are called as the mammary tubules, and these mammary tubules will now open up into the mammary ducts, right? Mammary tubules from here will open up into the mammary ducts, and mammary ducts, they will expand to form mammary ampullae. You can see certain swollen structures like over here. So these are called as the mammary ampullae. So ampullae are formed near the nipples, and after this the mammary ampullae, these are the areas where some milk may be stored before going to the lactiferous ducts, right? So from the lactiferous ducts, the milk is sent to the exterior, right? Sometimes chronological order of the parts of the mammary gland is asked. So if we start away from the innermost part, the first part will be mammary lobe, then mammary alveoli, then we have mammary tubules, and then mammary ducts, then ampulla, and at last is the lactiferous ducts. I hope students you have understood the various parts of the female reproductive system. Have a happy learning, and thank you.